everyone. Welcome to inaugural interview series of our Femina project organized by Leo Club, University of California, Women Empowerment Avenue. In this series, we focus on entrepreneurship, sharing insight and experience to inspire and empower women. Today we are honored to have Dr. Thesara Jayawardane with us, who is the Senior Lecturer of Department of Industrial Management, Faculty of Business, University of Moratuwa. She has done her PhD in Women Entrepreneurship. Welcome, Dr. Thesara.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Thesara, please let us know how you got into entrepreneurship.
First of all, Ayubowan, good afternoon. So I started doing my PhD with my supervisor, Professor Pratibha Mahanama, and he and I were talking about management-related female topics, and I was mostly interested in legal topics, and we were thinking of feminist theory and all that. Since I wasn't a law expert by then, we wanted to focus more on management and female empowerment. So we started looking at new avenues, emerging themes, and accordingly found that entrepreneur is a new subject at that time, about more than a decade ago, and therefore the women entrepreneurship subject came into our hands and started studying on it. While studying, I was fortunate to be doing visiting lectures at the University of Sri Jayawardane. They initiated and started a new department, the Department of Entrepreneurship, so I was a visiting lecturer there. And accordingly, once I came to the University of Moratuwa to teach, we were teaching the engineering students. I was at the engineering faculty. Engineering students, the entrepreneurship minor module, which is also a minor degree. So I was teaching entrepreneurship to the engineering students. Then we started an MBA in entrepreneurship at the Management of Technology department I was attached to. I was the first coordinator there. So we were promoting entrepreneurship. Accordingly, I started researching and writing books, and of course, after I completed my PhD in women entrepreneurship, I was also a founder member of Aramuna organization, which is also about empowering entrepreneurs and especially female entrepreneurs. And therefore, when I was teaching entrepreneurship for MBA and undergraduate students, I learned that they require certain words and certain textbook knowledge. Their vocabulary needs to be improved. Therefore, not everyone was fluent in English. So I wrote this textbook, Vyavasaya Katvirana Praveshak, which is also on entrepreneurship. So that's how I got into entrepreneurship, and this is how I'm doing entrepreneurship work continuously.
Okay, then Dr. Thesara, at the point of view of yours, who is women entrepreneurs? How you define women entrepreneurs?
Okay. Thank you for the question. It's when you look at an entrepreneur, by definition, prior to looking at women, let's look at an entrepreneur. It's a word derived from the French dictionary. It was first mentioned in the 16th century in France. So this entrepreneur word came from finding something new. So by definition, an entrepreneur is someone who identifies a gap or a requirement or a need in the market around him, in the society, and comes up with a solution to it in a novel, innovative way that no one has done it before. So this person will come up with a new idea, and not just having the idea, he is generating the idea, making it a business, and with the implementation or the process of it, that whole venture is a profit generating activity. So a women entrepreneur we can define as a female who's coming up with a new idea, identifying a gap and finding a solution or a process or how to fill it with their new idea and making it a business to bring in profit to herself.
Okay, Dr. Thesara, our next question is, why are women reluctant to become entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, actually, we can tell so many reasons. Now, when you look at females, you have many reasons why females are considered that they have a particular role. Culturally, we are expected as females to play the role of a mother, role of a homemaker, and so therefore the females are more kept towards certain, either at home or maybe on jobs that are considered more suitable for females, if I may say so, like perhaps a government job or maybe being a medical officer or a teacher. So they're considered that. So for a female to become something outside that box and to do something by themselves, be independent, start up their own venture and make money is a bit of a taboo in the society. That is one of the reasons that females are reluctant. And also, when you look at many years ago, females were finding it very hard to access money, to get loans or to get some financial aid from people. So that is also another reason why females were reluctant to become entrepreneurs. But having said that, I must say that post-pandemic or maybe during pandemic, people found that just having one income is not sufficient. Some males who had jobs were laid off, or they had issues at work that because some workplaces didn't allow working from home, and they had to find other jobs, and their income got limited. People who were working with interacting other people, their amount of income, household income dropped. So the females had to find ways to generate money for the family. With that, I observed with our research that females started coming up with so many new ways of making money, because during pandemic is when most females started up their online businesses. Whether it's doing something, some females I saw that they did some birthday food and cake making and all that, something different, and it gets delivered. Because of the COVID and all, people were not moving or traveling that much, so the females, there is a boost, there is a interest in females to become entrepreneurs, but of course due to the reasons I said before, there is a reluctancy among them.
Yes, doctor. So how you define risk taking? What is risk taking?
For an entrepreneur, when you or anyone to start a business, there is a risk. So which is why many people don't want to start a business. Let's say you have a great idea, but having a great idea is not enough. You have to always implement it to become a business, for you to invest money and take that risk for you to make profit back in return. So many people are reluctant to just stop their job and go somewhere and start a new venture because of that risk factor. So risk is something where you always stop yourself from going ahead and doing something because you are afraid of the consequences. Same for any business, but for a women entrepreneur, they are obviously coming up with something new, something other people have not done before. So the risk is much bigger for them than to a normal business person, because for a normal person, you have seen somebody else has done that business, so you know what are the possible failures, what are the possible gains you can get from doing this particular business. But for an entrepreneur, since it's a new way of doing things, a new idea, a new business, the risk is huge, which is what's stopping women from taking that risk and going forward as a women.
So moving on to next question, how we can eliminate the risk management, how we eliminate it?
Because without eliminating it, we can't actually do well as a women entrepreneur. So if we look at that, there is always this what we teach when we are teaching entrepreneurship is that if you want to be an entrepreneur, risk taking is a must. So you can't be a business person without taking a risk, because obviously otherwise you will be doing a 8 to 5 job and going home with a fixed salary. So for you to do something greater, do something useful to the society, to go ahead with your passion, then you have to take that risk. But having said that, you don't have to completely put all your money or put all your eggs in one basket. There is a method called taking a calculated risk. අවදානම් ගන්නවා. නමුත් අවදානම ගත යුතු කලාවක් තියෙනවා. So it's an art of risk taking. So you're not just taking a risk, you're doing a ගණනය කළ අවදානමක්. You're taking a calculated risk where you're looking at possible things that could go wrong. So any business, prior to starting, you have a plan. You're looking at what could go wrong. What are the possible things that would make you fail? And taking all the losses, taking all that things that you're going to invest, and calculating the possible profits and possible outcomes of success, you can make a calculated risk of the minimum risk that you have to take in order to make yourself a successful business person. So that calculated risk is what a woman should take when they are doing their women entrepreneurial venture.
Why should women become entrepreneurs? What is your idea about that?
Okay, so now let's say that for a female, there's always females are more family oriented. Whether you have a family of your own, as in you have a spouse and children, if not, you are at least committed to looking after your own parents or siblings, or if not relations. So females are mostly these, even if they are mothers or not, they play a role of a mother. So for them, it's very important to be connected to the family. So rather than, not everyone is fortunate to have very flexible jobs where you can come in any time and go any time and you have your own freedom. Most of the jobs require a certain amount of time and commitment at the workplace. So for a female, since with that family orientation and wanting to be at home, it's quite easier if you are an entrepreneur, because one, women are very creative. They can come up with new ideas, they can come up with new ways of doing things. They are very critical. So females can criticize things, this is not how it should be done, this has to be done it that way. So they will always be coming up with new solutions to issues. So with that, they have that freedom to start and do their business and manage their time alongside their family. So because females are known as multitaskers, they are very good at balancing both work and their personal life. It's quite convenient for females to be entrepreneurs because it's their own work. They can follow their own dreams, they can follow their passion. They can start the business and run it at their own pace. They don't have to run around like a male business person. They can balance their household work, like drop kids to school and then come and do your business. And also because they are very good at this multitasking, they can do all these things together. So therefore, I think it's the best work for a female to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, Dr. Thesara. Do Sri Lankan women entrepreneurs have different obstacles than men, like gender barriers?
Definitely, yes. Because to begin with, female becoming an entrepreneur or a business person is looked upon as if something that is not always acceptable. Not all families and not all cultures or social classes accept it. So it's a challenge itself to initially start up the idea. With that, coming up with a new idea and doing it and making it a business is very hard, very challenging, because it's something no one has done before. So everyone around her will say, why do you want to do something like this? Because no one has done it. You will fail. That is the type of attitude she will get from everyone around her. So that itself is a barrier. Addition to that, when you go to get some financial support, whether to get a loan or some aid from financial institute or let's say an investor, it's very hard for people to convince such institutes to give you money. It's double hard for a female, because being a female is being looked upon as someone who is going to invest that or take that money and put it onto their families. So most of these people assume that if a female is taking a loan, that person has an issue, let's say a sick child or some emergency at home, that rather than putting it to the business, that person, most likely the female will use it for their own family or the children. So with that risk being identified, most of the financial institutes don't want to take that risk. So the females are they don't have any other choice but to go for microfinancing. With microfinancing, what happens is, yes, you don't need that much of credit and all that, like credit history and all, but there's a huge interest rate that's been charged upon them, that females, even if they start making profit, or they, after the break even, they are making some cash, but that everything that's been generated is being put aside for that interest. Therefore, it's like a no ending game for them. It's always struggle, that females find it always a big obstacle compared to a male to go ahead, because the family is not supporting, society is not supporting, in general, even the financial institutes not supporting. So that's why we need to make awareness. What you do is really good here, that we have to give that support to females to become entrepreneurs and eventually empowered to do so.
So, Dr. Thesara, as a person, and as someone who is being in so long in this industry, so do you see any progress in women entrepreneurship in this field?
Definitely, yes. I do see, compared to like I said, about 12 years ago, people were not aware of the word entrepreneurship. They needed to find out what it is about, and people were skeptical about it. But now it's a well-known word. It's been used everywhere pretty much. And what I see positively is that, especially after pandemic, there are more and more women entrepreneurs. We can see many women have the courage to start up a new business with their new idea. Because, with the pandemic, so many things were lost that taking a risk was kind of, it's okay, let's go with the flow. So that advantage is there. And also we can see that more and more the government support is coming towards this entrepreneurship. Recently I was in the National Jury Board of the National Brand Excellence Award, where they recognized all these entrepreneurial ventures and business ideas of especially females and small business owners. So therefore you can see that there's a huge growth and interest among entrepreneurs and people to become entrepreneurs. So long ago, when we discussed numbers wise, we can see like countries like Japan and Sweden, there were so many entrepreneurship, and that's how they've been running their country. They support so much to the economy. And we thought that Sri Lanka is not anywhere significant to be found. So now we can see that most of these entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, are bringing in a lot of income to the economy, and they're supporting the development of the economy, and therefore they are being a strength to the whole country to develop. So therefore definitely I see a progress. That's a good progress.
Before we wind up the session, our last question is, what is your message to women entrepreneurs who is willing to start a new business?
Okay, so let's say any female who wants to be an entrepreneur, that itself shows that they want to be independent. So any female who wants to be independent or to be self-employed, the main first advice is congratulations, it's very good. You have to, I believe every female in the world should, if possible, should be independent financially from anyone else, because most of these issues what we see in the domestic violence and domestic issues take place because of that interdependence, or rather more females depending mostly upon the male for financial support and other support. So what I've been taught as a female when I was growing up from my mother, which she also learned from her mother, is don't ever lose your job, don't ever stop working. I'm sure homemakers are also working, but it's mostly that make sure you have some financial independence where you can have a say. So any female entrepreneur, that means you want to start up your own business, you want to be independent, you want to make money for your family. So then first of all what you need to do is, knowing that you want to be independent, next have the courage, be passionate about what you want to do, find something that other people have not found, but in the line of your passion, because you're going to do this for the rest of your life. So you can't just do something that you want to make money for, but it has to be something you want to do that will make you happy. So finding that passion and finding the requirement to be independent will guide you to find the way to become an entrepreneur. So of course most entrepreneurs, some mistakes that they do is they believe that you don't need legal assistance, you don't need marketing assistance, you can do it, you can start and later on you can do that. That is actually a myth, because most of the time what happens is you come up with a new idea, then you start doing the business, then by the time you go to register it or try to get the patent to it, someone else has actually taken the idea and taken the company name even. So always it's best to get the legal advice to see whether you want to be a sole proprietor or you want to start up a partnership. However it is, from the moment of registering your organization to getting the name to building a website to all that, do get legal advice. Then get some financial advice from an accountant. Keep your books accordingly so that you will be making money and keeping your profit aside. And always make sure that a portion of your profit, at least 20% of it, is kept completely without touching as your savings, and then manage your money and then start doing marketing, get help for that, and then continue to follow your passion and think that you are going to be empowered because of your independence. Then you will be a successful women entrepreneur. Thank you, Dilakshi, so much for the excellent questions, and thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
Thank you, Dr. Thesara Jayawardane, for your participation, and you have done a great job for us. Thank you for